Well, we can't do it in 10. 7, by the way, shortest meeting ever, Mount Pearl Council. When we had a chance to do that one night, Dave Denine and I said, no, that's not going to happen, and we spoke on every issue. We dragged that thing out till almost 7 o'clock. All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the June 30th public meeting of the Mount Pearl City Council. None of us in shirts and ties or anything. Summer is here. Yep. It's all allowed to be, and you'll notice that at least one half of the facility is vacant today. We've got three members of council gone. First thing is the agenda, which I've got in front of me. Accept the motion moved by Councillor Stoyles, seconded by Councillor Ledwell. All in favor? Contrary-minded, motion carried. 2 items to be added to the agenda. I believe that one of them may just be a replacement, the salmon-colored sheet. The other is community services report. I'll get things underway. Minutes and action report from the meeting of June 6th. Moved by Councillor Wall, seconded by Councillor Stoyles, that it be accepted as presented. All those in favor? Contrary-minded, motion is carried. Business arising from the public meeting of June 16th. Please refer to agenda numbers if there's anything for business arising. Again, from the June 16th meeting. Hearing none, Council, there are no proclamations or presentations today. We also have no correspondence to table in the public chamber. We'll move to committee reports. We'll begin with the Community Services Committee. Councillor Stoyles, if you would.
I just hit a button and went off.
And the whole thing shut down on you.
Oh, I think I got it. Yep. No, I haven't. I will take it. There you go. I was all ready to go and pushed the wrong button. Sorry about that. Canada Day celebrations, of course, is going to take place tomorrow. Of course, the activities takes place down by the Legion, and then we will do the city activities from 1 to 4 at St. David's Field. Rain or shine, I think we're up there, and looking forward to that event. And whoever can make it tomorrow, we look forward to seeing you guys out.
And it'll be fun.
And yes, it's going to be
apparently so, yes.
City Days, July the 17th to the 19th, and this being our 60th anniversary, we're looking for a really exciting weekend, and I think we have another public meeting prior to that, and the agenda and everything will be sent out. Summer day camps, 230 people are going to be participating this year, 8-week program, Kenmare Park Community Centre, O'Donnell High School, and Newtown Elementary. We look forward to all the children now that they're out of school and enjoying the summer camps and all kinds of fun activities. Also, the youth summer program is on the go. That starts July 6th, and that's for an 8-week program as well. And the last item we have is Emily House summer events, and they're going to have a whole bunch of activities for the children as well. They have staff people hired. They have drop-in programs Wednesday afternoons from 1 to 3, and also Tuesday and Thursday they have large groups at Emily House, and look forward to anybody coming out and bringing their children to Emily House, especially the younger children, for activities. And of course the Summer Centre is open, and we have high volumes this year, and we must say, especially with the weather now, we've been doing extra swims and things like that, so apparently it's going to be the best year ever in Mount Pearl Pool.
Oh, I would think, yeah.
The water slide, I was up there just last week with one of the schools. Actually, the Girls Elementary was over there. My grandson goes, and I went up and spent the morning up there because it was 2 different classes up there, and I must say they were blown away by the water slide and everything, and most of the kids were saying, we got to come back, so we're so excited to welcome everybody in the region to come to the summit and use our water slide. And that's it for me, Your Worship.
Thank you. I'm going to get you to stay on your feet for corporate services. You are the alternate on that. Councillor Walsh will be alternate for you today.
That's me still up there.
There you go.
Corporate services, and this is request for tax, and there's a number there, 1,771.50, and this is a property tax non-profit organisation.
Private organization. Move. Seconded by Councillor Walsh. Question or comment? All those in favor? Contrary-minded. Motion carried.
Next item is professional development training for Councillor Ludwell, and it's to attend a American Public Works Association convention in Phoenix, Arizona, on August 30th to September the 2nd, and I so move.
Moved, seconded by Councillor Walsh. Questions? All those in favor? Contrary minded, motion carried.
And part two is Director of Community Services, National Recreation in Las Vegas, September the 15th to the 17th, and under professional development training, and I so move.
Moved and seconded by Councillor Walsh. All those in favor? Contrary minded, motion is carried.
And invoices for approval, we have a new pink sheet, and approved them all in $2,459,201.50, and I so move.
Moved and seconded. Question or comment on invoices listed 1 through to 15? Councillor Walsh.
Just a brief comment. Actually, just great to see that the three of these invoices, 11, 12, and 13, make reference to the supply of emergency power for our City Hall. That was something that we've been wanting to do. I think the last time we had a major power interruption, a lot of different municipal governments and a lot of different corporations actually went out and sought alternative power supplies for the eventuality that power would be down for an extended period of time. So having this facility and the depot ready and power enabled in the event of a blackout is really, really helpful. And of course, we do have that integrated as part of our emergency planning as well. So it's great to see that as part
Here,
of
quite agree, quite agree.
And the biggest item there is our 4 loaders that we've already ordered, and they won't be in.
They're
here.
actually in.
We
Well,
have
they're
them. I
here.
didn't
We've
think we were
we've
gonna
set
have them
pictures
that
of those
fast.
here.
Oh, so we do have them. Oh, I didn't see the pictures.
What
Oh,
we
that's
have to
wonderful.
build is our building.
Yeah.
They're up soaking up UV rays as we speak.
Question.
We're going to call it. All those in favor? Contrary minded, motion is carried. Thank you, Councillor Stoyles. Moving on to infrastructure and public works, Councillor Walsh.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. The first couple of items are requests for prime consultants. The first relates to the work that's being proposed for the Reed Center. This contract, we put out bids, tenders for the inspection services that closed on May 4th, 2015. We had 3 proposals received. We're recommending that SNC Lavalin be awarded the contract for $167,076.15. That includes HST. This is not for the work, unfortunately. This is for just the engineering consulting work, the design, preparation of tenders, the inspection. But the largest part of this really is probably the administration and oversight of the project. We need to determine what needs to be done at the Reed Center, what we can do within the amount of money that we have to spend on it, where the priorities are, and of course, then we have to have someone to oversee the actual project. So that's what that tender call is all about, Your Worship, and we're asking for the support of Council for SNC Lavalin to be appointed the prime consultant on that project.
It is moved by Councillor Walsh, seconded by Councillor Ledwell. All those in favor? Contrary minded, carried.
Similarly, with Admiralty House, we have a considerable upgrade to the annex that's being proposed. Recommended that upon successful negotiation with the prime consultant, the contract be awarded to the preferred submission, which was Fougere Mentionton Architecture and CBCL Limited for the proposed amount of $125,373.50, HST included. And again, that's to determine what work, the architectural, the design, the administration, the oversight, and all work leading up to and throughout the completion of that project. And I so move.
Moved and seconded by Councillor Ledwell. Questions, comments? All those in favor? Contrary minded, motion carried.
The third contract is for the supply and delivery of flooring for the library. I think this is, again, it's carpet. We looked at various other kinds of flooring, but carpet seemed to be the way to go, particularly for the library, being a quiet environment, I guess. But the cost of that was $32,764.35, and the successful or lowest compliant bidder was Baker Flooring, and we're recommending that the supply and delivery of the material be provided by Baker for the cost of $32,764.35, HST included, and I so move.
Moved, seconded. All those in favor? Contrary minded, motion carried.
The fourth item that we're dealing with are a number of change orders, and the all relate to the infiltration study of municipal sanitary sewer. What we're trying to do is, we're all well aware, get as many of the houses throughout the city that have some pumps that pour water into our sanitary sewer system. This will be stormwater, have that removed, and of course that puts a tremendous drain on our resources, but it's also something that we get dinged with doubly now, because we also have to pay for the treatment of that, which seems so expensive and unnecessary. So there are a couple of change orders related to that. They're all four are listed. The total cost of the change orders are $152,333.04. The largest of them was actually a change in the scope of work, which was a design and retendering of the contract administration, and project completion phase, and project record drawings of the construction portion of the projects. There was also, in the previous one, as I was going through it, just looking at that, the first visit to some of the houses was just to provide them with information, to educate them basically about the project and why we were trying to do what we were attempting to do. Of course, we had to go back a second time, allow them to read the information, to be educated, to ask questions, to have questions answered. And now the second visit was to determine whether you'd like to buy into this project, how we would access your home, what sort of details would need to be worked out to enable that to happen. So that was part of the $25,000 as well. So that seemed like a high amount to me, but when you looked at what was required, there's a lot of time and effort that goes into that project. So the total change is $152,333, as I said, and 4 cents, and I ask for the approval of council to support that.
Moved, seconded by Councilor Ledwell. All those in favor? Contrary minded, motion carried.
There are a number of different projects that are going on. I'm not going to go through all of them. Many of them deal with replacement of curb, gutter, underground infrastructure, sidewalk, asphalt replacements. A big thing that we want to eagerly get to at the beginning of each year, of course, is the upgrading and updating of the line painting throughout the city. That contract is being done by Clearaway. But you can see a number of different and large contractors: Modern Paving, Crown, Platinum Construction, Wears, Dexter Construction, all doing work at the same time throughout the city. A couple of projects that are noteworthy because they're either completed or very near completion is the asphalt crack sealing program. That's totally complete, and that was done by Crown Contracting, and 90% complete was the multi-year contract that was awarded to Modern for work on hand plates, Jeffers, O'Keefe, Council, and others. And the details of all of the projects and the rates of completion are all listed for your referral. As well, right now we have crews continuing to repair winter damages, particularly in lawns, where we, during our winter operations, we maybe took a piece out of a corner of a lawn, that sort of thing. It's fairly typical in winter environments. Spring-summer bulk garbage collection is ongoing, and of course a reminder to the public, it's by appointment only now. The next one won't be until the fall and October, where we'll have scheduled appointments done by colored zone. We have regular garbage collection ongoing, parks and fields. A lot of work this time of year, obviously lawn mowing, sports field maintenance, that work is ongoing. And of course our regular flowers and refurbishing of the city's infrastructure, parks, walkways, trailways, all happening. The MADVAC is continuing to clean on a daily basis now and has been for probably a couple of months. And crews are continuing to litter our cleanup. Now that's pretty good. So we clean it up, and our crews go out and litter it. That's just obviously an error. Crews are continuing to clean up the litter throughout the city, not litter to clean up. But that's an ongoing project. And of course, that's one of our new big work projects. Yeah, we clean it up and they litter it. So. Sorry about
The curse of a typo.
Too much energy.
Yeah, the curse of the typo.
Yeah. Water and sewer. The leak detection repairs are ongoing, and they're going very well. And I do want to mention here that the new equipment that we purchased has really, really been working out well, and we're delighted for that. And we'll find even increased benefits in that as we continue to pinpoint breaks and water line breaks throughout the city. Catch basin cleaning work is ongoing, and finally, of course, at this time of the year, all of our time of the year where we typically do our regular maintenance of fleet and equipment and that sort of thing, and that work is ongoing as well. That's it for infrastructure, public works, Your Worship.
Question.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Stoyles with a question.
Just had a question about parks and the playgrounds. I know every year we normally do an inspection of the playgrounds and everything, and I know I had forwarded on a couple of concerns from residents about playgrounds and everything. Do we still do a regular maintenance check of all the playgrounds like this time of year? I think we do, but I think it's good for the public to know that this is something that we do every year, that we go into each and every one of the playgrounds, our staff, and we have qualified staff to inspect the playgrounds and inspect each and every playground. And if a playground seems unfit, I know we will bar off certain areas of that specific playground, and every couple of years every year we order new equipment, and different playgrounds gets us. Safety is always the first priority, but I've received a number of complaints this year on safety in the playgrounds, and I just wanted to mention it today. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yep. Go ahead.
To add to that, Councillor Stoyles, also, I mean, we do this regular inspection, but it's also a benefit for any resident if they have any issues, by all means to contact the Public Works Department, or certainly through council, let us know. We're not there on a very daily basis, but we're certainly there on a regular basis. But if somebody sees it, call us and we'll respond to it right away.
Okay, thank you. Planning and Development Committee reports.
Thank you, Your Worship. First item we have is an application from the property owner of 71 Holden Street. He's proposing to reinstate a fence that existed a number of years ago. Currently, the setback between the house and the property boundary is approximately 8 feet. But what the proponent is requesting to do is to place the fence about 2 feet from the sidewalk. Now, this is a fence that hasn't existed in this particular location for 5 years, did exist before that, but was damaged in snow clearing operations and ultimately was taken down. A number of both our committee and a number of our staff have reviewed this particular situation, and the plan of the resident is not recommended for approval for a number of reasons. First of all, the fact that he wants to place the fence as close to the sidewalk as he does, our municipal enforcement see that as a safety issue for traffic that's moving off of Holden Street and onto Wyatt Boulevard. Certainly reduces the sight lines at that corner. In addition, we've had Public Works have a look at the proposed fence, and it's felt that that's going to cause some problems with our snow clearing operations in the winter. And ultimately, as I said, this is not a fence that existed within the past 5 years, so we can't look at it as a non-conforming use or a continuation thereof. So for all of these reasons, the Planning and Development Committee does recommend that the application to install that fence about 2 feet from the sidewalk at 71 Holden Street be refused, and I so move.
It is moved and seconded. Question or comment? Councillor Stoyles?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if this is a new homeowner, or if this is the same homeowner. I know back a couple of years ago we took a hedge down because it had site restrictions. Is there a site restriction in this, or is it just the snow clearing issue?
Councillor Stoyles, this is the same homeowner, to my knowledge. And the fence, the reason why we're recommending refusal of the fence is because it would create a sightline issue. Right now there isn't one because the fence is not there. But if he was to install the fence 2 feet from the sidewalk, it would certainly create a sightline issue in the view of our staff and our committee. So that's why we're recommending refusal.
I'm looking at the picture here, Councillor, and I'm assuming there's no fence going on the front, right, of Holden Street. I'm seeing the outline. So the outline really is where the white little check marks are, right? That's the piece of fence we're talking. Okay. Is he allowed to build a fence there at all?
Not in front.
No. That white fence, he shows the white fence going in front of the house, building line. That in itself is a violation of our regulations, okay? So the question I have is he would have to stop. No, you can't go by. You can't go past the front of his house, the building line. Okay, so that section going to the corner leads to what I believe is what you're referring to as the sight line. So the question I ask is this: if he were in compliance with the regulations as they're written, and therefore the fence didn't go past the front building line of the house, your vision would not be obstructed. Would we consider allowing a fence for that? Ms. Schwartz?
Your Worship, I believe that the location map that's showing the small portion of the white line, the front building line, that may not be correct. I don't think he wants to put the fence at that location. It will start at the front wall of the dwelling and then extend along Wyatt Boulevard. And that is what was assessed by both the Municipal Enforcement Division and by the Infrastructure Public Works Department. So the location map itself it has a few two extra X's that should not be there, but the assessment was based on the fact that it would start at the front wall of the.
Okay, it's okay.
There would
All right.
be both a sight line and snow storage.
Okay. Is there anyone on Wyatt, because the map doesn't show it, behind this guy who would have a fence?
There is a property behind there.
I'm just guessing, by the way. I haven't been up to look. I have no idea.
Three houses all along, actually,
On Wyatt. And I'm saying, are those houses all along on Wyatt, do they have fences that would line up with the fence he's proposing to build?
I don't think so, not from my recollection.
I haven't been up there.
Onto Wyatt, Your Worship. This one was right on the corner and actually fronts onto Holden. Those houses that you're referencing would
Right.
front onto Wyatt.
Right,
and
Wyatt.
therefore they wouldn't have a, they
So
wouldn't
there'd be
have a fence in the
nobody
front
there.
yard.
Okay.
Right.
Question number 2 then to that. All right. Again, is there anywhere on his property that he would be, remember now, we're on his property. Is there anywhere he would be allowed to build his fence? I understand the argument that he's too close to the sidewalk. We've got to clear snow. We're only going to knock down this fence again if he puts it there. I get it. I understand.
Right.
Is there anywhere he would be allowed to put the fence? Julia?
There was already a fence.
Yes.
Yeah, and we tore it down years ago, apparently.
Well, no, Your Worship, there is an existing fence there that is in line with the established building line along the side wall of the dwelling and continues in rear of the existing garage. So the aerial photo that you see there, you may be able to see that, but there is an existing fence, and he would just like to, as it was 5 years ago, to push it out towards the building line along Wyatt, then come in where his driveway access is, and then come back out. And so there is an existing fence there. He would like to be able to expand it in a couple of locations along Wyatt Boulevard. So he has an existing fence there, and that is generally in accordance with the fence regulations, is that the city permits fences up to the established building line on that street. So
Right.
that's what he would
But
be able to
okay,
do.
so this is not, there is already a fence where these white X's are showing on the map.
No.
No, it's in closer to the shed there. You see it in the picture?
The fence connects, right, and the existing fence connects the rear corner of the building with his corner of the shed, and then the rear corner of his shed with the corner of his property along Wyatt Boulevard. It's an like as if the white dashed crossed line that you see in the image, you'd have to move down, so it would be continuation of the sidewall of his dwelling and the sidewall of his garage.
So right now, that fence is right tight to the side of the garage,
Yes.
Correct.
and it goes to the corner of the house.
Correct.
Is that not a violation of our regs?
In accordance with the fence regulations, the fence can be established up to the established building line on that street. And it's an unusual situation in that there is, as part of the development history of this particular lot, there's no snow storage area, city-owned, and the setback itself is deficient also because under the current regulations, a setback would require a minimum setback of 7.5 or 7.5 meters. So
So he couldn't do, he
this-
can't do anything with this fence.
yeah, so the setback itself is, in comparison to current day standards, deficient. But the established building line would be the continued line of the side wall of his dwelling and the side wall of his garage.
Okay, I got it. So the recommendation is to refuse?
It is.
Well, hopefully we'd do what you're suggesting, Your Worship, would be to go back and say, if you wanted to reinstate the fence on the existing fence line, that would be fine.
Yeah.
There'd be no problem with that. But
Yeah,
it
I
doesn't
guess
have to,
I'm,
you know.
and I guess what I was trying to do, Councillor Walsh,
To
was find,
accommodate 'em.
was find a mid-range.
Yeah.
Between there's where you were 5 years ago and here's where you want to go. You can't get there. Is there somewhere in between we can get you? Right? But the regs won't allow for it.
Unfortunately not.
All right, anybody else with a question or comment? Hearing none, we'll call it. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion's carried.
The next item, Your Worship, is a request for renewal of a license agreement to occupy some city-owned property which is adjacent to 18 Forest Avenue. Of course, the request is coming from the property owners down there. This is a piece of property that's immediately adjacent to their property. It's something that this has been going on, I guess, for a number of years, and basically they're just coming back to the city and requesting that the terms of the agreement that is already in place be extended. We're currently recommending that the lease be extended for another 5-year period as per the same terms and conditions that exist with the current agreement, which is about to expire. We've discussed as a planning development committee, we see no reason to stop with this particular lease agreement, so we are recommending that we extend the lease, and I so move.
Moved and seconded by Councillor Walsh. Any thought given by your committee, Councillor, to maybe just let this homeowner have this land?
It's not something that we discussed at our meeting.
You never got talked of it, did
but
it?
certainly we could bring it back to committee and perhaps approach the residents, see if that's something they would be interested in taking us up on.
Well, I mean, we let him lease it for 5 years, and now we're saying, yeah, we're going to let you lease it for another 5. Is there any will on the part of the committee or the owner to just acquire the little piece of land? Julia, again, didn't know you were going to have such a busy day in here, did you?
Yes.
Oh, you did know. Good.
Oh, yes. No, Your Worship, there is an existing sewer easement on that piece of land, and that's why this piece of property has
so
never been...
he gets to use the surface of it and nothing else.
Yes.
Well, that answers the question. Thank you.
Okay.
We'll call it on that note. All those in favor? Contrary minded, motion carried.
Moving right along, we have a request for a consolidation of lots and associated site work at both 974 and 974A to 978 Topsail Road. This is Ever After Bridal Boutique, who is proposing to occupy the current building at 974 and to do some of the site improvements and site work that does have to be done there, and that includes paving, curbing, stormwater management, and landscaping. This particular piece is before council because it is a consolidation of 2 lots. The subject property is located within the commercial mixed-use zone, and therefore it is an approved use for the zone, surrounded by similar uses. The folks at Ever After have acquired this property from the previous owner, and with it they have acquired a number of deficiencies, unfortunately, and those pertain, as I mentioned, to landscaping, paving, curbing, on-site stormwater management. And they've also, of course, retained, as it says there in the report, they've retained some deferred service levies of about $3,700 with their acquisition of this property. As part of their proposal, they're proposing to deal with all of that, perform all of the site work that is currently deficient, and get it up to snuff, as they say. So with that assurance from the proponent, as a committee, we're prepared to recommend that the application by Ever After Bridal Boutique to occupy 974 Topsail Road and also consolidate it with 974A to 978 Topsail Road be approved, and I so move.
Moved and seconded. The frontage on this building is adequate for commercial. It's 100 feet.
It's a commercial lot as it stands now.
It's a full commercial lot.
So it is
And
adequate,
this is not a lot that's beside it. It's the lot behind it, right?
That's correct, yes.
Wow.
It's fully commercial now.
Yeah. No, it's good. I think it's good.
3 down from Young Jarvis, I think.
That's right.
Yeah, it's just down from there. Yeah, right on.
Young Jarvis 984.
Okay. Anybody else with anything on it? Hearing none, all those in favor? Contrary-minded, motion carried.
Moving right along, Your Worship, we have a couple of new street names that I think I mentioned in a public report the last time around, but we're bringing the actual new street names forward now for the approval of council. They're up in the Pearlview Phase 7, the subdivision up there, and the two new suggested names are Larson Street and Hubbard Place. And as you probably know, the theme for the street names up there mostly revolves around explorers. Larson Street is proposed to be named after Henry Asbjorn Larson, who was a retired superintendent from the RCMP. He patrolled the Canadian Arctic coast and was the first captain to captain a ship that traveled the Northwest Passage from west to east.
There's a Coast Guard ship named after him.
That is correct, indeed. And Hubbard Place is
That's,
proposed to be...
that ship is named after him, is it? See, not every day you go out and learn. I didn't know that. Okay.
There we go.
Good,
Hubbard
good.
Place, of course, is proposed to be named after Mina Benson Hubbard. She traveled to Labrador in 1905 to explore the area, and her husband, Leonidas Hubbard Jr., attempted the same journey in 1903, but he did not survive. And his story is told in the famous novel, of course, The Lure of the Labrador Wild. So we think these are two very suitable individuals to name streets after, and especially in an area themed after explorers. So the Planning and Development Committee does recommend approval for these two new street names to be approved, and I so move.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion is carried. I'm going to ask that we do a little something, Councillor, with your permission. I would like to write a quick little letter to the President of the Combined Councils of Labrador to let them know that we have honored this lady in that way.
That is a very good idea.
She had her husband had quite an experience, but she had a much broader, bigger experience in life.
Indeed she did.
And long before women were breaking glass ceilings, she was busting down doors everywhere. So I'd like to do that because this is, while she's not a native Labradorian, Labrador won her heart, and certainly Labrador claims her. Would be nice for us to say, here on the island, we recognize that as well.
Yeah, no,
Okay?
I'd certainly be in support of that, Your Worship. That sounds like a great idea.
Thank you. Moving on.
Next up, we have our development permit list for the period of June 15th to the 26th of 2015. You see there we do have 4 permits for approval for that period, and I so move.
Moved and seconded. Question or comment? All those in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion carried.
And finally, for planning, Your Worship, we have our building permit totals for both the residential and commercial sides of things for the same period, June 15th to June 26th of 2015. You'll see there that the most recent period has been very busy on the residential side. Once again, a lot of renovations, fences, decks being constructed. The total for the period for the residential side is $1,093,000, and I so move.
Moved. Seconded. All those in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion carried.
And also, Your Worship, we have the same period, June 15th to the 26th. We're bringing forth the building construction totals on the commercial side for the permits. You'll see there we've got a lucrative period this time around, mostly due to a new building at 10 Panther Place. So we want to bring forward the total of $7,434,000, and I so move.
Moved. Seconded. All those in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion carried.
That's it for planning, and I guess I'll stay on my
You,
feet.
sir, are going to remain on your nugs there for Transportation Public Safety Committee.
All right. Double duty today. We have and you're paying for
I'm
supper.
buying supper, it looks like.
All right. We have a couple of notices of motion to read into the record, which I'll do. First of all, in accordance with Section 39 of the City of Mount Pearl Act, take notice that in accordance with Council's public notification policy, I will, at a regular meeting of Council, move an amendment to the text of the Mount Pearl Bicycle, Scooter, Skateboard, and Similar Objects Regulation that, if enacted, will add, change, and clarify a number of clauses that reference the definitions, licenses, requirements, and enforcement. The purpose of this proposed amendment is to provide Council with the authority to regulate the bicycle services throughout the city, and is dated for the 30th of June 2015. Our next notice of motion says, in accordance with Section 39 of the City of Mount Pearl Act, take notice that, in accordance with the Council's public notification policy, I will, at a regular meeting of Council, move an amendment to the text of the Mount Pearl Commercial Motor Vehicle Regulations that, if enacted, will add, change, and clarify a number of clauses that reference the definitions, interpretations, and exemptions. The purpose of this proposed amendment is to provide council with the authority to regulate the commercial motor vehicle services throughout the city. And finally, for transportation and public safety, I just want to make mention that, of course, tomorrow being July 1st is indeed Canada Day, as Councillor Stoyles mentioned, in the entire country. But here in Newfoundland and Labrador, the day has an added significance. Before noon, we celebrate Memorial Day. And, of course, it's to recommend, or not to recommend, but to remember those who fought the ultimate battle and paid the ultimate price at Beaumont Hamel. We're encouraging residents to attend the Legion Memorial Day ceremonies, which are being held tomorrow, July 1st, at the War Memorial Site, which is still currently at Park Avenue.
And it will be the last one there.
It will be the last one there. Indeed it will.
At that particular site.
But the ceremony gets underway at 11 a.m., and the parade, of course, is scheduled to commence on Commander Place, which is somewhat suitable, at 10:50 a.m. So we'd like to encourage all residents to get out and certainly have a great show of support and remember those who paid the ultimate price so we could be free.
Thank you, sir, very much. I believe there is one
It is.
more committee item, and that's Community Services. Councillor Stoyles, you're taking this?
I am, and it's the summer recreation bus tender, and the lowest bidder was Executive Taxi Services in the amount of $44,053. And this is, I guess, our seniors bus tours. They do 4 or 5 bus tours, and the city pays for those bus tours. 100% of it is covered by the city, and it is under the community services budget, and it is within budget, and I so move.
It is moved and seconded by Councillor Walsh. Question or comment? All those in favor? Contrary-minded, motion is carried. That, I believe, concludes all committee reports. We are up to new business. Councillor Stoyles.
A couple of items, as we said earlier, school's out and a lot of children out on the streets and in our summer programs and things like that. So I want to wish all the children and teachers a safe and happy summer. Unfortunately, I've received a number of phone calls, though, about graffiti and vandalism, and especially over in the Toomey Place. I received a call from a lady on Toomey Place. She's lived there for 35 years, she said, and she's never seen it so bad with damages and break-ins and things like that. So I want to make sure our municipal police is out in force. They were going to be out in force in the whole city anyway, and our park patrol, but I just wanted to highlight the Toomey Place and Whitley Drive area, because I did receive a couple of phone calls from that area in particular. And that's it for me.
Thank you very much. Councillor Walsh.
Yes, Your Worship. I'll turn my mic on. Just wanted to take note, Councillor Ledwell just made mention of the parade tomorrow for Memorial Day, which is always something that has tremendous significance and interest. In the last 2 years, very well attended, in fact, as well. I wanted to make note of the fact that tomorrow's parade route is substantially different. They're going to commence and gather on parade from Commander Place. They've traditionally done it from Church of the Ascension, I believe, up on Smallwood Drive. So that's a very significant change. It shortens the route a little bit. I guess it has a little less interruption for traffic as well. So take note of that tomorrow. The parade will commence from Commander Place, not the usual place, which is Church of the Ascension. A couple of other things, Your Worship, and I'd ask for Ms. Schwartz if you could just check into these for me. They're both things that I raised before, and I'd like to see them addressed if we could in the next few days. Our neighbors and friends from the city of St. John's on the corner of Old Placentia Road and Brookfield Road. That corner lot it's very unique. 3 of the corners are Mount Pearl. 1 of the corners is the city of St. John's. That lot, I've never seen it worse. And I think a call may help satisfy it. Sometimes, workers will pass by there and just not notice it because it's not something that they're directly working on. But today there were a pile of trees and branches. There are 2 Mr. Mulch trucks up there. There are 6 buses parked on the lot there today. It's one of our major gateways, if not the major gateway into the city, and it's just not good enough. I don't think the council and the city of St. John's would mind at all taking some action to clean up that entranceway, because it's also an entranceway to some of their developments that are approximate location to the city of Mount Pearl as well. That's one. The second thing that I mentioned before as well, something needs to be done with the Tilly store. that building is really starting to be decrepit looking. It's in a state of continuous disrepair. I know there's nobody occupying, and there's nobody been occupying the building now for probably a year or more since the new Marie's Mini Mart has been operating. So can we look at that and see, what the deficiencies are, and see if we can have one of our inspectors drop by, talk to them maybe about what the plans are, if they're planning to lease it. If not, they have to do something to bring it up to a better state of repair than it is right now. So those two things would be. Did you want to reply to either?
Yeah, Julia.
Your Worship, with regards to the corner lot, just a quick update in that we, probably a month ago, we were made aware that the City of St. John's has just approved the development. So there will be some changes shortly. We will follow up nonetheless regarding the items you mentioned, but I just wanted to provide you with that update.
What was the proposed development? Can you just
It was a gas bar and convenience store.
another one right on the opposite?
And with regards to the Tilly store item, we've had actually last week we had a meeting with the property owner, and a report will be coming forth through the committee on that. So there was some follow-up on that. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Swartz, very much. Councillor Ledwell?
Thank you, Your Worship. I have three very brief items. First of all, yourself, Councillor Stoyles, myself, a number of us actually attended the Sport Alliance barbecue that they held to wrap up their year just last week. I just want to congratulate the Sport Alliance and the Board of Directors, Chair David Roper, on a great year. Thanks for having us at the barbecue. Have a great summer, and certainly look forward to more big things from the Sport Alliance. Young Mr. Roper has a lot of great plans ahead, so it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. But certainly congratulations on all the great work that they do already in the city.
Absolutely.
I want to pass on some condolences, Your Worship, to the wife of Steve Best, Marina Best. Marina passed away very recently. Of course, Steve is a very well-known volunteer within the city with the Mary Queen of the World Parish, with the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, and of course he is the Charter Grand Knight for the Father John B. Kent Council of the Knights of Columbus that we have here in the city. So he played a big role in getting that organization off the ground. But Marina was always involved in all of the things that Steve did, very much so, and more besides, and certainly it's sad to see her pass away. I want to pass on condolences to Steve and all the family, and certainly, Your Worship, if you wouldn't mind, if we could perhaps send a letter of condolences under your signature, that would be great.
Absolutely.
As well, I just wanted to say a word of congratulations very quickly. Father Edward Sutton at St. Peter's Parish just this past week celebrated his 35th anniversary in the priesthood. And of course, 35 years doing any kind of work is quite an accomplishment, but 35 years doing the Lord's work is that much better again. So a quick word of congratulations to Father Sutton on that important milestone.
Thank you, sir, very much. Just, I guess, very quickly, I will make mention of two things. As you know, this weekend I was at the Urban Municipality Committee meetings in Port aux Basques, where I chaired that particular committee, the Urban Municipalities Group. Wanted to just note for the record a thank you to Director Stefan Yevchek and Director Jason Silver, both of whom attended the event. Councillor Yevchek, I will do that even when he's not here. Stefan played a critical role in some of the work that was done with all of the economic development officers there. And I have to say, Mr. Silver did an outstanding job on updating the other towns and cities about the work we're doing on our asset management project and updating them on where we were. And it is obvious, based on the commentary, we're way ahead of a lot of people in this game. We're definitely on top of that ball. So, they did marvelous work out there, and I wanted to pass on a thank you to them for that. Just this Monday, the St. John Ambulance here in Mount Pearl hosted another CEO Charter Signatories Safety Breakfast, hosted and sponsored by WHSCC, and yours truly attended as mayor to wave the flag and show some support, as Mount Pearl is a signatory to it. They had a huge crowd turnout. We also have a rather brand new business, Falk Safety Services, which are internationally known, and they're now living on Topsail Road and they were there to do a presentation on their business, what it is, the kind of safety training they're providing to the offshore and everywhere. I think I'm going to get us a little tour of that. They've got a swimming pool to rival ours, guys, and they're able to do things from create waves of a foot high, all right, to like 15 meters high. They're able to drop you out of a helicopter. They're able to do all of this stuff, and they can have the wind blow from as little as 5 kilometers an hour to 140. And they can also make it rain in this pool, horizontal, vertical, whatever you want. And of course, they can also make it go completely dark. They call it fidelity training, which is they call it as realistic as possible. They put you in the setting, and it was fascinating what they're talking about, and they're doing it right here in Mount Pearl. We're pretty impressed with that. And today, all of us, we had the honor to go up and visit Local 740 of the Laborers Union, their training facility here in Mount Pearl. I've passed it 1,000 times. I've always said, because of that big, gigantic wrench you see on the lawn, what are they doing in there? We finally got to go have a look at it today, and I have to tell you, Jim Myers and his crew up there, they deserve a pat on the back. It was very impressive. We're going to send him a big note of thanks for letting us see what they're doing, because they are having quite an influence when it comes to training pipe fitters, plumbers, welders, electricians. They're doing it all and doing a marvelous job of it, and they really have a neat facility. Jerry Antle fell in love with the pipes. That's all we need to say about that. Our Peace Sign Project this afternoon, we are one of the mayors and councils participating in the International Peace Sign Project. That's why we took that picture outside. Wonderful to see that one of our youth of the year, at least, was able to join us for that. So all in all, it's been a relatively busy time. And by the way, doesn't look like it's going to get any lighter soon. With tomorrow, we've got 3 different events happening, quite frankly, with City Days and the commemoration of Beaumont Hamel. So, on that note, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Councillor Ledwell says it. Let it be so. We stand adjourned. Thank you.